She knew those feet. She was the one who sat at Jesus' feet and learned from him. And she must have been a good listener, able to understand what he was all about. Jesus spent a great deal of time with the family of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus in Bethany. And we learn when Lazarus died just how much they loved each other. They all knew Jesus' teaching and the way he challenged the Pharisees, and they knew it would get him into trouble with the authorities. Things were heating up against Jesus in Jerusalem, and yet he came for the Passover, and the stage was set for a confrontation. His friends in Bethany knew it, and despite it, they gave him a dinner. We think of Mary as the quiet one of the family, more contemplative than her sister, who was very active and talkative. We hear very few words from Mary, none in today's gospel, but her actions, anointing Jesus' feet with costly aromatic oil, shouted to the housetops with a message all present could understand. The fragrance filled the house while Jesus was at dinner. And the oil was not an act of hospitality like the cleansing of some dusty feet. Mary knew, perhaps they all knew, this anointing was a preparation for burial. And this lavish ritual provided a moment of profound, silent intimacy and understanding, not only for Mary, but for Jesus' friends as well. The extravagance of the oil, worth 300 days' wages, spoke of the depth of love they had for him. And it was courageous for her to carry out this ritual in a common setting. In doing so, helped to give Jesus the strength that he needed to continue his journey. And the community would share in his suffering. Mary does for Jesus something similar to what Jesus would do later this week for his apostles. And during the Last Supper, he modeled his love commandment with a great act of service, washing the feet of the disciples. The command to love one another as I have loved you is not only a call to serve one another, it's also an indication that we too must participate fully in Jesus' suffering and death. It's notable that 4 of our 7 sacraments include a ritual of anointing. We welcome new members into the community at baptism. We call leaders to the assembly when men are ordained to the priesthood. We give the strength of the Spirit to those young students who are growing in their faith at confirmation. And for the tradition of our life with God, we offer the sacrament of the sick, all using the fragrant oil of anointing. In Roman culture, a more traditional way of serving was to give alms to the poor. Thus, Judas objected to wasting expensive oil. But Mary knew that what she was doing was not wasteful. Her gesture was accepted and praised by Jesus. May we be as insightful and bold as Mary was at the right moment. This week, let us all walk with Jesus and pray that we may be revived through his passion and death. He gave his life for us so that one day all of us could be with him in heaven.